Alright guys, so today we're going to take a look at a wireless speaker. Now, I normally cover earbuds and headphones, and I usually don't talk a whole lot about speakers. But because I've checked out some of TOZO's products lately and I've been pretty impressed, I saw that they had a speaker that was kind of priced in the price range of like the JBL Clip and the JBL Go, which is a tiny speaker, but it looks a lot like Bose's SoundLink Flex speaker, which is a little bit bigger, and I was very impressed with the SoundLink Flex. So I was really curious to what the TOZO PA1 wireless speaker would do, because this is a $49 speaker that right now you can pick up for only $37. And the fact that TOZO is impressed with their quality with the earbuds, I was very intrigued to check these out. So to start with, some of the features is it is IPX7 waterproof, so you definitely can, listen to this by the pool or at the beach and not have to worry if it does drop into water. It is using a 67mm dynamic driver, and it also has 20 watts of output power. Now, you can also have two of these and pair them together to have the left and right stereo sound. I only have one, and so I can only imagine what two of these would sound like. It does work with TOZO's app, which is a huge plus. It's giving you the ability to keep the speaker updated, but it's also giving you like 16 different EQ settings, or you can just customize the EQ settings the way that you want. And so that is also nice, because a lot of speakers, you're just getting the sound the way that it is out of the box, which I will talk about that a little bit later once we get to the sound. Now, as far as what actually comes inside the box, it does come with a little fabric like lanyard, a little strap that you can, put it on your wrist or put it on your bag or something like that. It does come with a USB-C cable to actually be able to charge these. Now, it has a 4,000 milliamp battery inside, which is giving you up to 25 hours of battery life total. Now, that is very impressive in a speaker this size. Obviously, that will get you through a full day, because you only have 24 hours in a day, so it's a day and plus an hour. But that really just kind of depends on the volume that you listen to this. Obviously, the louder you listen, the less battery life you're going to get, but still, being able to get around 25 hours is definitely going to come in handy. Now, as far as the actual design and the build of the speaker, like I said, it reminds me a lot of the Bose SoundLink Flex as far as the size goes. On the back and the actual body of the speaker, it's like a plastic but kind of rubberized feel, which gives it a pretty good grip. On the front is basically all speaker grill. On the side is where the USB-C input is located to charge these. On the top, I did leave the sticker so you can actually see what all the controls do. They are actually like tactile buttons, but you have your power button. You also have your Bluetooth pairing button, but this is also what allows you to connect to another speaker. You have your play and pause. You have your volume up and down, which also controls moving your tracks forward or going backwards. And then you have an EQ button, which will only switch between basically a treble boost or a bass boost. If you actually do want to go through like legit EQ settings, again, you have to go within TOZO's app. But it is nice that you have the ability to switch between any kind of EQs on the speaker itself. And another thing you can use the speaker for is like for conference calls. You can connect this to your computer and, listen in on a meeting, but also use the mics on here, which I think do a pretty decent job of picking up my voice. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is a quick mic test using the speaker. Now, the speaker is actually not even right in front of my face. It is off to the side and probably about a foot away from me, maybe even 2 feet. Sitting at the corner of my desk. So, if I wanted to turn to do something and I'm on a conference call, this is about how well it would pick up without me actually having to have it right in front of me. I did have it right in front of me, which you can see here. This is the quality difference there. But this is just to kind of give you an idea of what it would sound like if you used it as a conference style speaker. So now let's talk about the sound. The 67mm dynamic driver that's in here is outputting not only some impressive sound quality, but also some very impressive volume. This speaker can get very loud for its size. It can easily fill pretty much any room in a house, and I actually would feel comfortable using this outdoors. You know, if you're like a small party on the patio and you want to be able to listen to stuff, I think it puts out plenty of volume for that. Now, if you want to cover a larger space, obviously getting two of these, which still would put you in at about $74, $75, that is going to cover a much larger area. Now, out of the box, I do want to say that the sound is a tad bit warm for my liking. I do like for my sound to have a brighter feel. It is a very boomy speaker. Bass is definitely not lacking when it comes to this speaker. And again, to me, that's impressive because in most cases to get a boomy sound, that's where you start to see those like, you know, boombox style speakers, the much larger ones. So the bass output that this little speaker had was very impressive, but I did have to go into the EQ settings and again try to play around with some things to really get it to sound the way that I like. But once I did, I was able to get a very bright and clean treble. Mids, it seemed like no matter what, definitely stood out in this speaker. It could be male or female vocalists. They always sounded like right up front, even with chaotic genres like metal. And this is where a lot of speakers, especially in this price range, tend to fall flat. It gets like really messy. It gets very congested, and it usually destroys sound. And I did not experience that with this speaker. It still retained the bass so that you can feel the drums. It still had the mids be nice and forward, so guitar riffs sound nice and clean. Again, vocalists come out very nicely, and you're still able to hear the crash of cymbals. It is done so well. The fact that it's a $37 speaker is crazy. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think this may be one of the best overall values of any audio product. And I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because TOZO's earbuds have impressed me lately. So the fact that their speaker is able to compete with the Bose speaker that's $150, technically you could get almost 4 of these speakers for the price of one of the Bose. Now, I know Bose, you're basically paying for the name a little bit more. I do understand that. But the fact that you can get something that's even close, and in my opinion, I think is very comparable to that product at a fraction of that cost, basically makes this just an easy product to recommend. This video, I know, sounds like it's sponsored, but it's not. TOZO's just coming in where they've impressed me with their products. It's kind of like Soundpeats and Earfun, where I feel like there's so much value, and that's, again, what I like to base this channel off of. If there's a company that's bringing out products that I feel like is saving people money, or if you're in the market looking at the Bose speaker or some of Sony's speakers or any of the more expensive brands, it's nice to know that there's companies out there that you don't have to necessarily spend a ton and you could get something that's comparable. And again, like in this case, you could get 2, have stereo sound, and still be well below the Bose and a lot of the Sony speakers. And I do not think that many people will be disappointed when it comes to the sound. It definitely has that Harman curve. It's trying to appeal to the masses. It does not lack in low end, which is very impressive on a speaker this size. And it still has a bright and clean treble. So yeah, this is an easy product to recommend. Again, its IPX7 rating means you can use it everywhere and not have to worry about it. The fact that it works with TOZO's app is giving you a lot of flexibility when it comes to the sound. And being able to connect to 2 is just, again, making it where it can kind of fill a larger space than a lot of the other smaller speakers out there. But guys, that wraps up my video on the TOZO PA1 wireless speaker. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.